and Policy, Power and Politics in Healthcare Provision, 400-238 for summer. And it's 2017, the end of 2017 and into 2018. My name's Robin Moroney and I'm a senior lecturer at this university. I'm based on the Hawkesbury campus, not Parramatta, but my contact details are in the learning guide, and I'll be monitoring email and participation on the VUWS site, which is the VUWS, Virtual UWS site, throughout this summer session. I'm going to now share the screen so that I can go through the learning guide with you, and that means I'll go off the screen, which might be a relief for you, and you'll be able to see the learning guide. But in the meantime, I'd like you to log on to the VUWS site, and so because I'll have a look at that too. I'll share a screen and show you how to get around that site reasonably and the things to look for. This is the learning guide, and this really is the contract between you and me and the university, if you like, for the things that we're supposed to be doing. It's got a table of contents which is possibly useful for you, and certainly the handbook summary that talks about what this unit is actually about. My contact details, and I have my mobile phone number, and that is my own mobile phone number. Very happy to answer texts. Try not to be silly about the time you're texting me and expecting an answer, but you know, most times I'm contactable. Judy Mannix, who's the ACCA or Academic Course Advisor. She's actually the director of the academic program, the postgraduate director as well. So she's the head person for postgraduate courses in the school. Student consultation, happy to talk to you via email, telephone and appointments. But the other thing that you can do is, when you've got questions, is to use the discussion board. I'd really like you to do that, because when you put a question up there, it means that when I go in and answer it, or if other students hop in and answer it, we can share the answers, and it means I don't get 100 emails, but you also probably get the information that you need very quickly. The only essential equipment that you need is a computer, I think, and a capacity to make the time to do this unit, because it's a fairly tight time frame, as you can probably see from the scheduled assessments. The learning outcomes are outlined in the unit below, and you'll see that they're numbered from 1 to 8, and you'll find that in that weekly timeline when we get a bit further down that I've tried to match up the readings and the things that you're doing with those units objectives. You need to look through the modules, and there are 4 modules in this unit, and the modules are in the under the learning modules document, so please look at that. I'll just flip onto that briefly, but it's fairly self-explanatory, and I've tried to pace it in the weekly timeline as well. As you can see, there's 2 assignments. One's a short answer question. Short answer questions. You have to do 5 of the possible. I think I've got 8. I keep cutting it back and forth, so I think I've got 8 options, and you should be able to do them as you do the readings. Okay, I'll put up some guidelines certainly by next week before the actual starting date. The starting date is until the 27th, but I have this site up earlier. I thought you might want to have a bit of a look, and for people who want to make a start on things. I've set an 8 p.m. deadline, and that's only because that's when the IT centre is closed. Because if you have difficulty uploading it, they can't help you. If you do have a difficulty getting it uploaded onto Turnitin on time, then just attach it to an email so that I know you've done it. Okay? If you're going to be late, send me an email earlier, like not 3 minutes to 8 would be good. Okay, so just if you need an extension of time, just let me know. I'll give it to you, but I just need to know, and I need to nail you down to when you are going to submit. In the same way, the policy analysis and critique of any Australian or international health or aged care policy, either micro or macro policy, and the word count is much bigger there, 3,000 words. So it's something you can start on, but I've given you plenty of time to do that, and you'll have the feedback for your first assignment not long after the summer break. So university's closed for a couple of weeks. All right, to pass this unit, you have to get, and I should go back and say, and same, I've got 8 p.m, and it's just because that's when the IT centre closes. I don't care. You really do have till 12 midnight to make sure it's on time. If you're going to be late, don't be hysterical. Just, I'd rather have a good assignment that's handed in a bit late than a bad one that's handed in on time. All right, this does explain what you have to do to pass the unit. Just you have to get 50% and complete and submit all assessment tasks at the required time at the right standard, okay? Failure non-submission grade is when you've failed to actually complete one or more pieces of assessment, so please don't do that. We can negotiate all sorts of things, don't give up, just, do it. Under special circumstances, I can do that, and certainly as a possibility for resubmissions and reassessments. Generally speaking, mean you can only get 50% at the most, okay? Depends on the circumstances. So that's all possible, but resubmissions generally, if you've passed one assignment and failed the other and haven't got to the 50 yet, I'm happy to have another look. Okay, so as I say, first assignment, 5 short answer questions worth 40%, and you can see at the end of this document the marking guide requirement. And this is two social ideologies, theories, and shapes of public spending on health. This is part of the first few readings, and even the first PowerPoint that I'll put up will give you most of the information that you need to do this. But you need to do the readings. If you don't do the readings, okay, you simply don't have the information that you need in order to adequately answer the requirement or address the requirements of this unit. And there's the 8 questions we've just rolled by. Policy analysis, really start thinking about at some point in the next month or so what sort of policy you're going to look at. And this assessment task aim is to facilitate the development of skills and expertise in being able, in understanding the development and understanding of the relationship between politics, power and construction of health and aged care policy really anywhere in the world, and to identify and critique social ideologies and theories that shape public spending, discuss the global evolution of health and aged care policies and the organisational patterns of health and aged care service, and all the other 4 points here. So it's really trying to pull it together. What creates policy? What pushes governments to formulate policies? What sort of pressure groups do they have? Who has influence? Why do you think that is? How does public opinion work? What about the social changes that cause policy shifts? What's targeted? What comes up to the top of the tree? And then what problems do they have in terms of making decisions, the wicked problems, making decisions about which areas of health need to be prioritised, what policies need to happen and why. And you've got a couple of options here, and we'll tease those out more and give you directions under the assessment tab in the Views site that tells you how to decide which one to do. And the reason I've done them separately is only that if you're going to do a policy, say from your workplace that you really know very well, and use it as a case study, it may not be complete. And that's all fine, but you need the detail. You certainly need to use for both of these the Australian Policy Handbook, Oldhouse, Bridgman and Davis. There is actually a 6th edition that's just come out, but we're using the 5th at the moment because that's the one that the library had, and it's the one that's gone up on the Readings and Resources site. This option will depend on the availability and access to material related to the process of development. So, and it may be a policy from your workplace. So it's something you really know well. Otherwise, we need to look at one health or aged care policy for choice, utilise that policy framework, and in the Australian Policy Handbook, and refer to the frameworks for analysis listed on page 26 of the Learning Modules document, and explained in Reading 2.1. Please do that, okay? The required readings and learning activities in the learning modules for 1 and 2 provide detailed information about policy development, and that's what you really need to nail down. That's what I said to you before. Don't think you can do either of these assignments if you don't do the readings. You must do the readings. Okay. Submission requirements aren't all that detailed, but please make sure that you don't go too far over the word limit. It's just too much for us to mark, and often it means you're raving on a bit. Don't do under the word limit because you probably can't explain yourself very well. Just small margins. Don't, do it like a newspaper column. Double space. That means basically like this one. It's a line. There's another line space in there. It's not all squashed up together. And another line. If you don't know how to do it, email me because I'll tell you how to do it. In fact, I might do a cut and do a little document, because quite a lot of students do hand in assignments that are single spaced, and then we can't put comments on easily. You can't read them, the comments that we put, because your typing's over the top of it, or it's over the top of your writing. It's all electronic submissions, so it's all through Turnitin. Turnitin is very good at matching text, okay? Don't do it. Please paraphrase. That means put things into your own words, okay? If you're having trouble, you can contact me and we can talk about how you might reword things. But you can also use the resources of the academic literacy tutors. They're the PCALs, and I'll show you their link. You can make an appointment with them, and what they'll do is they will do it online with you. You can email it, you can have a little talk, tell them you're having trouble putting things into your own words, and they'll help you. They can also help you to identify what you need to do in the assignment to some extent, and certainly I can do that. This is a relatively small group compared to most groups we have during the semester, so it's a good group to be in. Late submission, like I said, I will listen to any story. You don't have to tell me fibs or anything like that. If you're running behind time, I know people have lots of competing priorities. Please just tell me so that I know when to expect the assignment, and we can really negotiate a realistic time frame for the submission of that assignment. Don't just not hand it in. Don't die, don't run away, don't feel that you're going to give up. If you're feeling like that, send me an email. We can make it happen. We can help. All right. So extensions are possible. So you just need to email me. As I say, try not to do it 3 minutes before it's due in. As you can see, this is the teaching and learning activities. This is the grid that I said, and I've tried to do it. This is what I want you to do. 2 readings in week 1, 2 in week 2, and so on. These are very small readings, okay? So 2.1 to 5, it won't kill you, just do it. Okay, have a look at what the application of that information in the activities, and try to do the activities. But you need to decide that you can answer the questions in assignment 1, because they will come directly from these readings. You don't have to rush around outside. I expect you to do these readings. Okay, as you can see, I've made it a bit tight because I wanted the assignment due at the end of week 4. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's summer break. Okay, the university closes a couple of days before this. I think it's the Wednesday. I think we've got Thursday, Friday that the university's closed. You know, but fortunately the internet doesn't close, so it won't hurt. You'll be able to submit your assignment. If you're having problems, I'll be monitoring over those couple of days, so you can email me. But if you've got my phone number, send me a text. I'll listen. I'll be there. I promise. Okay? So if you need more time, that's fine, because we've got the university closed for a couple of weeks. Trust me, I'm not going to be sitting there marking all of your assignments over the break, but I'll make a start on them. All right? So if you need a bit of extra time, that's fine. Just tell me. But it gives us quite a lot of leeway, and that's why I've set it at that time. So, you know, don't feel hysterical when you see this due date, but aim for it, okay? Don't mess around. Aim for it. And once we get past that, all right, I don't expect you over, you know, the big holidays when everything's closed, Christmas Day, doing things with families and all that sort of stuff. But that's 2 readings equivalent over that week. Please, you know, try not to get behind, because it just makes things more difficult for you. This is a fairly tight time frame, although we've actually got 12 weeks in this semester, which is more than we've had before, because the university isn't starting first semester, the autumn semester, until a couple of weeks later than they normally do. So that's been added to this summer session. As you can see, it just keeps going, and then obviously I expect you to, at some point, to have really decided on a policy, but we'll talk about that further down the track, and I'll give you lots more links and possibilities of policy documents that you might want to look at. E-learning, I've said that essential texts is this is the essential text, but all of because the textbook, the entire textbook is available online, there are links to all of the readings associated with that. However, it is a very good book. If you want to have a look at it, you can purchase a copy. It would be a good thing to do, and I know that the bookshop at Parramatta has them, so please consider. Literacy resources, this is available for all students, all right? If you're struggling, and apart from when the university's closed for those 2 weeks, the Parramatta and Hawkesbury literacy people will be available. You can I would email the Parramatta literacy tutors, because we have a summer school starting as soon as the university goes back, and those tutors are on call. Get in early, but as I say, do it online. You can make an appointment time, and they will give you a Zoom invitation, and you'll be able to log into that. You can talk to them. You can then do a share of your screen, just like I'm doing now, and you can talk through your assignment. They're very happy, especially if English is a second language. They're very helpful. They can help you. I've got a few things, my responsibilities to assess your work fairly, all that. You can read this. Raising concerns, have a concern about the unit, contact me first, that'd be good. If your concern is about me, you better contact Judy Mannix. And so you've got 2 people to talk to. These are all the policies: code of conduct, the assessment policy, special con policy, review of grade, all that sort of stuff, everything that you might need, links to other resources. Probably not something that you really desperately need for this unit at the moment. This is what you need, though, as we get down to the criteria and standards for assessment 1. Please look at the really good ones. I probably should try to make this a bit smaller. Yes, that's really what I want, all right? Each question and maximum allocation. High distinction. The discussion clearly orientates the reader to the relevance of it. That's what you're looking at. That's what you're aiming for. Okay, don't aim for that one. That's the one. But you've got to have all that in it. All right? The same with academic writing. They're well constructed, concise, logically developed. Okay? I also expect to be able to, going back, referencing is appropriate. I will put the APA style guide up under the learning resources. Please download it onto your desktop and use it. APA is a particular style. I expect it to be used. I don't expect it to be 100% perfect, but I don't expect cut and pastes from all sorts of other references and have them dropped into your reference list and in all sorts of different styles. If you cut and paste from the learning modules, you'll find that they're all APA and they are correct, all right? You just need to know how to do the in-text references in the middle of the things that you're writing, okay, rather than just the reference list. But there's no excuse for the reference list to be incorrect because mine is correct, I think. Okay. Same with assessment 2. Please have a look at that carefully. Choice of policy, reasons, critique, and this is how we mark. And I'll get somebody to help me mark, okay, because I can't mark and cross-mark all of them. So they follow this. I'll give them guidelines. I'll give you guidelines, but I'll give them the same guidelines with a bit more detail for them. Okay, that's it as far as that that document goes. The learning modules. The learning modules are here. Okay. All right. And it tells you what is policy. It's basically one of the first questions in the first assignment. Social determinants of health, for people who've done any sort of community health or primary health care, they should know some of these. What the new public health is, looking at the objectives, and it's set out. I've also got other readings that you might find useful, and the library will have those. You can click onto the library link and put these in, and you'll get them all thrown up. Some of them are already in the readings and resources. Okay, so like I said, I've got a little synopsis of the readings, basic things about the policy cycle. I might add, if you try to have a look through here, I think I haven't made any mistakes with the referencing. This is how you do APA style. The only time you need a page number for APA, the true APA, is when you do a direct quote. And I don't expect you to be writing many direct quotes. Direct quotes aren't your words. I expect you to paraphrase. Okay? There's a little bit of variation in APA styles that are required by some universities, but they're hybrids. They're not actually real APA at the moment. That's what we're using. We don't have page numbers in text unless it's a direct quote. Okay, so the famous policy cycle, I want you to know that backwards, and there's an activity. Okay, and you should be able to at least, do a couple of lines on this. Okay, so that's that. The next one should be, oops, sorry about that. I just need to page. This is the views site, and this is the home page, and just things that you need to look at. There is the unit information. Okay. First of all, there's announcements, and you can see here I've got a welcome announcement. You can click on that. Every time I do an announcement, I also click on a box that then sends an email to you with the announcement in it. Oh, it doesn't want me. Sorry, it's denied me access because I've had it open for too long. That's good. Sorry about that. I have a lot of sites on my view site. Okay, unit information. Okay, so oops, I'm going crazy. Be good if I got the right one. Summer. I told you I had a lot of information on my sites. Okay, unit outline, learning guide, and I'll have this video is obviously on this site, and I'll send an announcement about that. Learning materials, they're the learning modules, and I will do a weekly update, and there'll be video links. I've got a lot of video links on public policy, on social determinants, just things that are really sort of quick little nutshell things that should help you. There's the assessment link, and that will be how you actually submit your assignment through Turnitin. Readings and resources, very important. If we have a look at that and click on that, takes a little while to G itself up. All the readings are here, she hopes. Yes, so reading 1.1, and you just need to click on these view links, all right? So that's all the readings, including all the additional readings. So you'll find pretty much everything there. Your Tutor is a site that you can use to submit your assignments to and get a bit of a comment by people who, it's an external provider. I think they're very hit and miss. I think if you get somebody good on the other end, they can be good. I think you would be better off with the PCALs. However, if you're not in any condition to do that, you can have a look and see whether you think they're okay. It's free, but you might be better off sending it to me. Okay. And that's about all. I think I've got, there's the library site. I think you'll find that useful, just to click on that. It's basically what you would get from anything, you know, when you go into the web page of the university. But you can do searches through there, and clearly you could, there's an online librarian, and they will be available except during the university close down. Okay, stop share, and there I am back again, I hope. I'm sorry this has been so long, but I think it's important in a completely external course that we have a reasonable run through of what I expect you to do. Okay, so as I say, contact me anytime. I'm available, and I'll be around until the university closed down, and even during that closed down period I'll be available, but we will have online. I'll have updated interactions with you every week. Okay, thank you.